Hello, hello. This is Jen. I hope everybody's good. I'm here with an energy update. So, welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you're not new. Thank you for being here. Last time I was here, I said I would come here or try to come here every 2 weeks. And I know it's been a long time since I was last here. And I have to admit that coming on here every 2 weeks or so is a bit much at this point because it is too crazy out there. Just too crazy. I mean, things are going at a pace that I've never seen before. And I know I'm not the only one dealing with that. Things are going so quickly. I just can't believe it. Anyhow, energies are crazy out there like they always are, and I really hope that everybody's good and that everybody's working on their own stuff, taking care of themselves and being safe out there. What's coming up for us? We're just a few days ahead of a few days away from a full moon, and the last one we had in August, in between on the night of the 22nd to the 23rd of August, was a very potent full moon where lots of energies were released. And for some, they're still feeling those effects going on. I mean, they're still purging whatever they needed to purge. And remember this, when we're talking about spiritual ascension, personal development, when we talk even in business, like growth in business, any kind of growth, it always happens in layer and in steps. So perhaps you've been through a huge layer of purge in like a few weeks or a few years ago. It doesn't mean that you're done. Because of course we go through life and still stuff gets added to what we will need to purge eventually. You know, we're human beings. We go through situations that may interfere or hurt us, and we will most probably need to take care of it to clean this stuff out from our energy field. But also, when it comes to past stuff, either from childhood stuff or past lives, it comes in layers because it's practically impossible to release everything all at once. It would be way too traumatic and it would be way too complicated to do all at once. For example, just a few days ago, the collective. Well, no, I shouldn't say the collective because the collective is about to go through this. A few days ago, a few individuals and whoever was ready to be at that phase in their personal development went through a major release of the toxic divine masculine energy. And I'm not talking about stuff from this life only, but archetypes from years and lives ago. That patriarchal archetype that is or was toxic. Not all of them were toxic. Not all divine masculine energy is toxic. But there was this huge layer of toxic energy. The kind of energy, and a lot of you will relate to this. The toxic kind of energy where the ego is taking all the place, where the ego is the one who's leading the show, where the ego is deciding for other people, and where people are not necessarily acting out of or for the highest good of all, including themselves. They just act out of, being in power. And being in that level of power involves a huge problem, a huge insecurity issue. Someone who's very secure at their core usually doesn't need the control, usually doesn't need to hold power with such a grip that it hurts them if they let it go. So a few people, a part of the wave, has been going through this in the past few days. And it was a dense energy that was being released from our energy fields. And if you identify with that purging, it is a nice thing to do to upload the new energy into the field so that it can have a positive effect on the collective, so that it can motivate and push the collective to do the same kind of work. So perhaps it showed up for you as, releasing stuff with boyfriends that you may have had, or just male friends, your father, your grandfather, or even stuff from past lives. And when I say past life, I'm referring to all these years where women or feminine energy was not being recognized as equal, where it was oppressed, where the male dominant world, therefore energies, were taking all the space. They were ruling society. They were ruling kids and women. They were ruling. That's it. They were ruling. And of course, by now, except in some countries, and that's fine. That's what they choose to be. Women are recognized as equal. And they are. Because both energies need to be in harmony to create a third energy, which is based on unconditional love. And since we have these two energies inside of us, it's really important to be in our harmony with or within ourselves first before trying to teach other people to do the same. So that's why it's been very difficult for me to come online and record these updates, because first of all, things were going so fast, like I mentioned. I just couldn't keep up. And I reached a point where I was like, I don't even want to know what's going on. I just want to go through this. I just want to keep it moving. And it doesn't mean that it was negative or hard or anything like that, but it was just like, I feel that there's something going on in the background, and I choose to leave it in the background for now because I have other things to care for and to take care of, and I have other things that I need to focus on. And that's what I did. I needed to take care of myself. I needed to build new stuff in my life, and I needed to let go of things that no longer were serving me or are serving me. So as you most probably know, it's really chaotic out there, just like it has been for the past year and a half or so. We're going on 2 years now. Can you imagine? It's crazy. I just don't want to get into this because there's so many things going on all at once, and everybody has a role to play in this. What I can say though is that I'm starting to see a parallel with what Dolores Cannon was talking about in her conferences and in her books when she was talking about the split of the two earths. I think we're seeing it pretty clearly. I think we see the division very clearly. I think we see, how can I say it? I think we see those two groups very, very clearly out there. And yeah, you can, I don't want to say the words, but you can, I'm sure you can connect the dots, and I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. There's the 3D and the 5D, but there's also something else going on in the world right now where we see a huge division happening. The ones that are for something and the ones that are against something. And, you can have your own perceptions on that, but I hear people talking about this division more and more and more and more, and I see friendships being broken over this. And I started inquiring and investigating what's behind that. And that's where Dolores came up in my mind. And it clicked, and I was like, oh, that must be part of the split that she was talking about. She most probably were referring to what's going on in the world right now. I don't know how long it's going to take before we get over this, but things are going to change. As we change, things are going to change. It's only a matter of self-mastery, working on ourselves, and like I mentioned before, being sure that you master something before you start trying to teach other people. In the past, we saw a lot of preacher teachers coming on YouTube on the public place, talk about their stuff like they were mastering everything, to a master level, only to see them disappear not too long after. And for most of them admitting that they didn't know what they were talking about. So that's a spiritual law, Master yourself before you try master or helping other people master themselves. Just saying, just putting this out there. We're a few days away from another full moon that is coming up next week on the 20th, I believe, of September, 20th of September. And this one is going to be part 2 of what we had in August. So be prepared. It's going to hit hard once again. It's going to take a lot of energy to transmute whatever transmutation or alchemy that needs to be happening in your life right now. It's for a good cause, though. It's for your highest good and the highest good of all. So just be prepared. We will most likely feel its effect a long time after, just like it was in August. It lasted like for days after the actual full moon. Usually it's like a few days before, a few days after, like 1 or 2 days. But in this case, even a week after, we could still feel the effects. And I remember checking the Schumann resonances, and there was this huge white blurb on the dashboard. And that's an indication that, energy spikes took place. And they did. We could definitely see them. So as I mentioned in many other of my videos, we are witnessing the collective waking up slowly by slowly. And the division I was talking about not too long ago, for those who are witnessing people not waking up at all, think of it this way. They consciously chose to stay in the 3D instead of moving towards the 5D. And I can't remember in which video Dolores Cannon is talking about this, but I'll search for it and put it in the comments, but it would be worth your time to check it out, just to understand what she was talking about. She was also saying that a lot of people would leave, that, this division would be there, but it wouldn't mean that because one chooses to stay in 3D, that they wouldn't be able to be in contact with the 5D. No, it's just that a real difference in these people's realities, one living in a 5D reality and one of them living in the 3D reality. And it's okay. If you choose to stay in 3D, that's fine. That's your own choice, and it's okay. You can do this, you can do that, that's okay. And if you chose to be in 5D, especially if you resonate with being in the waves of volunteers, you most probably chose the 5D. You know how hard this has been. It's been very difficult to open these doors, to be the warriors of this revolution. And it's going on, and I believe it's going to go on or keep going on for a few years. Like, with what's going on right now, I'm not sure it's going to be over in like 3 months, not even 6 months. I think it's going to take years. And I say this, and I want you to take it with a grain of salt, because this is not me doing a reading over the actual events of the world right now. It's just me saying my opinion. I think we're going to be dealing with this for a long time. I was trying to find the right word, but there's no good words, but a long time. We have, I believe we have to get used to it. in a way. Doesn't mean complying to it or surrendering to it, but it means getting used to it, learning new ways of doing things, learning new ways of going about your life, going about working. It's about creating the new world. It's about creating those new companies where, things are different, where things are different. I don't know how else to say it. I know on my end, I've been seeing a lot of changes, a lot of people, new people walking into my life. And those people are very interested in spirituality. And as a lot of you already know, I do have a day job. I work in marketing and in sales, and I connected with dozens of new people that are very interested in spirituality, and I connected with them through work, through sales and marketing. So there's definitely a wind of change out there at a certain level, but that's the thing. There's so many levels that it's hard to see them all. And for myself, I just simply choose to focus on the ones that are really important for me and to focus on the ones that will take me where I want to be. And I chose to not care about the rest, not pay attention to the rest. All right, so sorry if you hear a change in the sound or if you're hearing noises. I had to record this update in 2 parts, and I'm sitting in my car, so we're gonna have to do with that at this time. So regarding this upcoming full moon, it will bring a lot of truth about people, about who they really are, their true nature, true colors. And unfortunately, that will also create division or more division, because people coming in with their truth may cause some relationship to be over or to change directions. But knowing that it's coming from a good place, and it's in the best interest of all to know this about people that are around us, it's a good thing overall, right? So let's just be prepared for this. Let's just be prepared for what's coming for after this full moon. So in regards to these truths coming out about people, we have a chance here to see people for what they really are and who they really are. Meaning, you may come to realize that some people haven't been honest with you, haven't been transparent and authentic with you. They may have, tried to hide some stuff in the past or pretend to be in a certain way while they were not, or purposely hiding stuff about themselves and pretending to be someone that they're not really. Knowing this, get prepared to, first of all, have this show up in your life, but to also deal with it afterwards. It's not about trying to put it under the carpet and pretend that nothing has happened. It's a really big opportunity to help people awakened. That may sound weird, but think about it for a second. If someone does something to you that is out of respect, or that lacks respect towards you or towards your boundaries, it is best to know about it sooner than later, right? And it's also an opportunity to help this person grow and awaken and change their behaviors. It's a really big opportunity to show the way, to lead by example. And if you find that it's not working with some people, well, it might be a really big sign that it's time to let them go or introduce a form of distance between you and this person to create an environment that is sane, respectful, and good vibes. Do not Do not deal with what you don't want. Speak your truth. And talking about speaking your truth, of course, it's a really big time to speak our truth. Always, every minute of the day. Every minute of the day, you have a chance to be your true self. You have a chance to speak your truth out loud and influence others in a good way. Especially in environments that are closed-minded or even toxic. Speak your truth. Always. It's a choice. You have a choice to censor yourself or to put yourself out there and not care about what other people think or say about you. If you know that you're coming from a good place, from your heart, and that you're trying to do your best and do the right thing, go for it. Keep on pushing it. And don't pay attention to how other people react to you. Some people have that effect. Some people are born to disturb other people in a good way. I mean, not in the bad way, but you know what I mean? Born to disturb someone, to stir the shit a little bit when it comes to people's programs and false perceptions and stuff like that. So yeah, we have an opportunity and choices to make every waking minute. And this full moon will be a very good reminder of that. A very good reminder that we have free will to be who we want. And let's be who we want. Let's be. So, short energy update. That will be it for now. Thank you for being here. You can follow me on social media at IndigoGirl555 on Instagram, IndigoGirl on Facebook, and you can use my email to reach out at IndigoGirl555 at gmail.com. And until the next time, be well.